It's my pleasure and privilege to introduce Professor Jerry Solfin. Professor Solfin has taught this course for 3 years. He's the one who completely modified it and then taught it for 3 years. And our hope is that, again, next year, for example, he will teach it again. He is a psychologist by training, and he has done extensive research in the area of parapsychology. But he is here today because, 17, 18 years ago, he developed a very strong liking for yoga and meditation. And he himself may recount the story of how it changed his life. And so he has been a regular meditator now for many, many years. But today he will talk about a very unique style of meditation that he and his colleague developed at Duke University many, many years ago. And I will let Jerry explain that. This is, as you can see, it's being recorded. So after today's lecture, seminar, if you have missed something, you can go back. I will upload the video file the moment I get it from Heather. And there will be an assignment that Jerry will give at the end of today or Thursday, Jerry? The assignment?
I'll give you the assignment today, 4:30.
No.
Yeah.
Very good. With that, let us welcome Professor Jerry Solfin.
Yeah, there are a few pieces you're missing. I give my interest in research activity, personal and professional, with meditation goes back 40 years. So that's where Eno meditation comes in. I'm resurrecting it, I'm bringing it, I'm digging it up from the grave, and reinstituting it now. But that was created 40 years ago for a series of studies I did at Duke University with meditation and the effects of meditation. But we'll talk about that later. So, first of all, make sure that everybody has the questionnaire that was distributed. Did you hold your make sure, did everybody get one of these? And everybody filled it out. I don't need the email address except if you're a visitor. Are there any visitors? Oh, good. Excellent.
We were told that, but not from the community fund.
No, anybody who's not enrolled in this fund. Excellent. Oh, excellent. Anyone else? Okay, so for you, I need your email address. And for the rest of you, I don't need an email address. But make sure that you put your name clearly, because that's how we know you're here. That's your attendance record, as well as a questionnaire that will be used just by me, because I give this when I teach meditation. Sometimes I give it before and after a period of time in meditation classes. But sometimes I just give it once. But it gives me an idea or a feeling of how this particular group will compare with other groups, that's all. It won't be published in any way. Your name will not be used in any way. It doesn't go on Facebook or anything like that. So I'm delighted to be here to talk about, and more than talk about, to actually do meditation with you. And that's the purpose of this. So this week, today and Thursday, we will have some experiences with meditation. And then you're going to be asked by Professor Sengupta to do meditation on a regular basis till the end of the semester. It's part of what the class is about. Okay? And I think we should go ahead and start, because it's going to take us a little while if we're going to actually do some experiences with meditation. So let me go to my notes and make sure I'm not skipping anything. Nope, all set. Okay, so the course is The Science of Kriya Yoga, as you well know. So here's the agenda for today. We're going to be talking about meditation today, but there's a bit of an agenda that goes along with that. And the agenda is this. First of all, what is yoga? Now, you've probably talked about that a little bit with Professor Sunyaka, but we're going to review the piece because yoga and meditation, are they the same or are they different? So that piece we need to kind of clarify. And then we have a little clip, a video clip we're going to play, and then we'll talk about that afterwards. And the video clip is to get you excited and hopefully teach you something you don't know about meditation by someone other than me. Dan Harris is the NBC news anchor and has been for many years. So if you turn your TV to the news program, NBC on weekends, he's the weekend anchor. Well, Dan Harris turned out that about 10 years ago, he had a panic attack on air when he was in the middle of a newscast. He discusses this, and so he went to a doctor, he got help, how can I get out of this? And that led him eventually, one step at a time, to meditation. And since then, he's become extremely involved with meditation. He wrote a book called 10% Happier, and about meditation and about his experiences and about how meditation can help others. So he's an advocate for meditation, and this is a recent YouTube clip. If you go on YouTube and type in Dan Harris, you'll find that he has a lot of clips, almost all of them on meditation. This is a new one, and I wanted to play it for you to see if I could get you stimulated a little bit, because meditation is such an odd thing. I was recently down in Florida with my cousin, and just visiting for a day or two. We went to the community center there, and I was just curious. They have a very extensive set of courses and trainings and computers and arts and crafts and all sorts of things to do for the people who live in Florida. And a very extensive offering of courses. I said, oh, let's check on the meditation courses. None. They have none. Zero. And I said, what? I mean, you're a population that has lots of time for meditation. They have a need for meditation, et cetera, and they don't have meditation courses. I think it's still that way. I think last week when I met you briefly, I asked if anybody had meditated, and I got one hand. Maybe you misunderstood. Has anybody ever meditated? Good, a couple of people. Okay. Oh, good. All right. It's still an odd topic, and Dan Harris brings that out in his video clip. Anyway, I think I wanted to add a little bit more credibility than I can muster. And then we're going to start our experience with Eno meditation. And then we're going to talk about this allegory of meditation as a living, breathing river. Then we're going to move into some technical stuff about, you should know something about how meditation came to America, where it came from. So I have a little short discussion of the brief history of meditation in America. And then we're going to do meditation again, but at a different level. Same meditation, but we're getting at it stepwise. And then we're going to talk about breath counting in the meditation. We're going to add that to our meditation experience. And then we're going to talk about pitfalls of meditation, which hopefully the experiences you've had before that, up to that point, you'll already know some of the pitfalls. And then we'll finish off with a summary and assignment. So that's the agenda. That's the menu for the meeting.
Good.
Hang on. Yeah, there you go. All right, so what is yoga? What's meditation? We'll start with yoga because there's some confusion. So in India, if you say, I'm going to go do yoga, or if you say, I'm going to go do meditation, it means the same. It means the same. That's not true here. If you say, I'm going to do yoga, say, oh yeah, you got a mat, you know, you got the leotard on, you know, you're going to go to the Y, you know. In any case, we have a different idea of yoga than it was originally intended. So we're going to talk about that just a brief minute, just to clarify this. What does the word yoga mean? Well, it has two meanings, and they're polar opposites, which is curious. But you see, it makes perfect sense that it has two meanings that are polar opposites. So first of all, yoga means union. It means bringing together. It means linking. And it means bonding, binding, linking, harnessing. Yoking is usually the closest synonym in English. Yoking, as in you got two oxen and you have a yoke, or you have one oxen, you have a one oxen yoke. That's the sense of you're uniting or binding. Okay. Now, what that means is that you are bringing something together. You're bringing your life together. You're bringing yourself together. You're bringing your outside and your inside together. You're making yourself one person instead of 15. So that's the sense in which you are bringing things together. You're uniting with your external, internal, your soul, whatever that is, your mind, your body, this idea of holism. That's the idea of uniting. But it also means, well, here it is, achieving oneness with your true inner condition, unconditioned self. Okay. You know about conditioning? So I teach psychology sometimes, some intro psychology from time to time. You know about conditioning, Pavlov's dogs and all that? Okay. Well, it turns out that if you know a little bit about conditioning and you have done a little bit of self-investigation by whatever means you may have done it, you'll probably have discovered already that you are 95% conditioned. That is, that the stuff you do, the stuff you like to do, you get pleasure out of, the stuff that you go for, the stuff that you eat, the time you get up in the morning, how you behave with your friends, what you talk about, what you don't talk about, what your personality is to some extent, are conditioned. Meaning, they're not you. If you look at who's me, you say, well, I like this kind of music, you know, I have this IQ, I do these grades in school, my preferences for jobs that I'm thinking about in the future are X, Y, and Z. Is that you? Is that you? Well, there's no clear answer to it, but you'd be amazed at how much is conditioned. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the union or uniting is uniting with your true self. Okay, that's the idea. The second part is the opposite of it. That is, yoga also suggests the contrary meaning of separation, detachment from the material world, emancipation from the world. Okay? And you say, well, how can it be opposite thing? Well, doesn't it make sense to you that if you want to connect with your true self, your unconditioned self, wherever that is, whatever that is. Might be scary to find it out, but at some point in your life, you might want to go for a hunt to find out who you are. Okay, so that's the uniting of it, and the separation, the detachment from the material, and the emancipation with respect to the world is the opposite meaning, which you need to do. In other words, you are uniting with your true unconditioned self, and you're liberating or freeing yourself from the conditioned self. Okay, that's all. So that's what yoga means. And typically when you talk yoga, you are talking probably about Patanjali's Ashtanga, or 8 limbs. Ashtanga means eight limbs yoga, all right? And here they are, and we're not going to talk about them now, but you will in this class, if you haven't already. You will discuss the 8 limbs of yoga as presented by Patanjali in the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Okay, so here's the list. Now, I'm giving you the list only because I want to point out there are 3 things that we want to pull out of that. The postures or asanas, and that's the basis of Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga, which is so common, that's when you go to the Y, because there's a sign that says yoga at 8 tonight. Bring your mat and your towel. Okay? That's the postures, asanas. Okay? The physical part. Then there's a second piece of breath work, which is extremely important in yoga, and it's called pranayama. And then the third and final piece is dhyana, and that's meditation. Okay, so I bring this up because when I, as a research scientist, am studying the effects of yoga on, let's say, asthma. So I run a study, and I'm getting it published in a mainstream journal. The first thing the journal asks and says, well, how do I know that you use yoga? Because there are so many kinds of yoga. I mean, just go on the internet, type in yoga, you get thousands of stuff. Okay? All about yoga, all different groups, different kinds, different forms. Some are active, some are passive, some are intellectual, some are all body-oriented, etc. On and on and on. Okay, so that's where some confusion comes in. So in the research world, where I have been most of my life, there are 3 things that you need to have in order for an intervention to be called yoga. So the editor of the journal will say, give me those 3 things, and then I'll publish your article. And the 3 things are meditation, physical movement, the asanas, and breath work. Now, what specific kind of movement, what specific kind of breath work, or what specific kind of meditation